Non-Americans of Reddit, what's something someone can say that indirectly screams I'm an American? Depends on what state you're in. I live outside the US right now, and this is the answer to the majority of questions I get about home. I probably say this every day. What's the most common question you get? Is weed legal? But also stuff about health insurance, camping, general laws, etc. I'm American, but there's a story here that would apply. I moved to Taiwan when I was in middle school. Since my parents were Taiwanese, I grew up speaking Mandarin, and it didn't take a long time for me to shake off the American accent when speaking. Initially, people would be like, "Oh, an American," when I said literally anything, but gradually, it turned into, "Oh, you're American?" And eventually, people stopped even bringing it up. Then one day, we went to a new doctor's office to get updates on our vaccines. The doctor was very polite and professional. We chatted a bit, she stuck me with a needle, and started filling out some paperwork. And she asked, "Are you getting these shots because you're returning to America?" And I was shook. Hadn't heard that question in years, not from a stranger. I said, "Aw man, yeah, that's right, I'm getting ready to travel again." What gave me away? And she responded, "Americans, when you prick them, they say ow. Taiwanese locals say ah." That always gives them away. Usually when someone says y'all. I was taking a walking tour in Ireland once, and the guide mentioned Notre Dame for some reason. This American guide tried to correct her pronunciation as Notre Dame, not Notre Dame. It was a wildly uncomfortable few minutes. I've heard people attempt to correct French tour guides in Paris. A tour guide in Paris told me that when he is guiding American tourists, he always asks at some point if anyone is staying at the Hotel de Ville, and there are always few that put their hands up. That's what we call town hall for those who don't get the joke. Saying sophomore, senior, etc. Freshman, junior. My favorite inoffensive wrapper. Using ma'am, miss and sir. None of my customers use it except Americans. Edit, wow, thanks for the upvotes, I totally do not deserve it. Recommending a brand of medication. Apparently medications are advertised on TV. Yep, they sure are. Mdwi. I keep thinking 911 happened on the 9th of November because of that. I had to write down the date yesterday. I almost wrote 911 before I realized I'm not American. Only date it happens on because it's talked about so much. It was 90 degrees outside. I hope that is a reasonable number. Same with gallons and square feet. 900 square feet, is it a palace? Is it a broom closet? I never know. Divide by 11 to get an approximate figure in square meters. So it's the broom closet in a palace. School spirit. I work in an international school with lots of American colleagues. The expectation to be excited about everything is a lot, but I see why it would be infectious if you were brought up in the States. I do like when the European teachers are all grouped together awkwardly, not knowing what to do with the spirit and cheer. European friend, why do you guys drive so much? Such a waste of gas. American, I'm usually not in the mood to spend over an hour to get eggs from the store. European friend, then why don't you move closer to where everything is? American, then I won't have money for those eggs. The US is not pedestrian friendly. Went to America, Orlando, and our hotel was less than a mile to the entrance to Universal. Easy walk, but there was a stretch of maybe 100 meters where there was just no sidewalk, so you had to walk on the grass. Thought it was pretty odd. Not to mention the heat here. So many tourists end up with heat stroke or severe dehydration because we Floridians don't believe in pedestrian-friendly shaded walkways. You mean trees? When I was stationed in Yongsan, South Korea, I had to take part in what was known as town patrol. Basically, we wrangled up drunk soldiers who were out past curfew. You could usually tell an American soldier from any of the other folks hanging around. For those that have never been, Yongsan is in the middle of Seoul, one of the biggest cities in the world and a melting pot of culture. Most younger American soldiers usually ran around wearing hoodies with various American sports teams, kind of a dead giveaway. It's even funnier when they try to fake a British accent and don't know any British slang to go with it. Asking for ranch dressing. I call ranch dressing American sauce. One time, When eating with a group of friends, I said pass me the American sauce and they all knew what I'm talking about. It's dumb, but I get a kick out of it because ranch feels so American. Even the name, ranch. What a cowboy thing to call it. The creator was an American who bought a ranch in California, which he named his brand Hidden Valley Ranch. The salad dressing name is possessive, meaning the dressing of the ranch. Based on my own experience as an American abroad, realizing that other countries don't have donut shops open for breakfast, because donuts aren't a breakfast food. That was one thing that shocked my Aussie husband when he went UHS. Iced donuts available for breakfast? Although knowing him, I'm sure he wouldn't have hesitated grabbing a few. As an American, I go out of my way to put on my best clothes and a full beat every time I go out, just so I'm not immediately identified as a tourist rube. Then I remember I'm fat and the jig is up. This fat Aussie is running interference for you. Thinking I have a British accent, I'm Aussie. I'm British, living in the US, and I'm losing the ability to tell. People here think I'm Australian about 80% of the time. I'm an Aussie living in the US, and it's been guessed correctly maybe twice ever. I've had South African, German, New Zealand, New York and more. Oh my god, say something, I love your accent. The college experience. I grew up in a college town in a flyover state. What is that even, Mayom? I drove myself to the hospital. I rode in an ambulance once when I was 17, it cost me 960 used. I vowed then if I have another medical emergency that I'm calling a limo to take me to the hospital. Holy ducking shit, is it really that bad over there? That actually sounds kind of low. My father-in-law paid about 1,500 used for his ambulance ride last year. It may be different depending on where you are in the US. How can it possibly be that expensive? Well, let's see, an EMT can make $17 HR, easy. Let's say there's 4 of them, so call the wages $70 per ride. And then gas would cost several dollars. And the rest is, you know what, that's a great question. How could it possibly be that expensive? I had to take an ambulance last year. And while the ride cost me $150 with my amazing insurance that I miss dearly, I was charged $12 for gloves. Now I've purchased latex gloves before and I know that a box of 100 gloves does not even cost that much. But here I am paying for their damn case of gloves. Another episode of American healthcare being the ducking worst. I was hit in the head with a cash drawer at work. After I was triaged, I sat waiting for hours with a likely concussion while everyone went in before me. Finally, about 4 hours later, someone comes up to me and asks if I've been seen. They literally forgot about me, then they put me on a bed in a hallway, handed me some anti-nausea meds and sent me on my way. $715. For forgetting about me. I just got surgery and spent 4 figures extra to stay overnight. They fought with me about pain meds that my surgeon told them to give me, and I sat there all night unable to sleep because my back was killing me. As I'm leaving the next day, a nurse starts laughing and realizes they never inflated the hospital bed. I saw someone on Restory Memes say that 1864, I think, was the worst year in human history because it was the height of the American Civil War. Edit, dates. The moment when you casually forget the 2 times when there was war quite literally everywhere in the world. Why didn't you leave a tip? Any comment about 1 hospital bills, or 2 gun rights, gun ownership? Also, 3 Fahrenheit. What about feet and inches? Canada uses feet and inches for people's heights, but kilometers for distance. We're kinda a hybrid between the US and European systems, which can be very strange for people who didn't grow up here. Asking, on Reddit, where to buy something but not indicating what country they're from. Doing this screams they are from the USA. Too. Apparently some people are becoming offended by this answer. The question is, what's something someone can say that indirectly screams I'm an American? This comment is my answer to that question. Not a complaint, an observation and response. Related but the opposite. Assuming everyone else is in America and giving American advice. I've noticed it particularly in the Diuk subreddit. It's in the name of the sub, UK. You still find Americans telling people to go to their local America-only shops to find products with American names, drywall, spackle etc. All my walls are dry, thank you very much, and WTF is spackle? and to make sure they do their work to fit in with the code from where they live in America. It drives some people mad, and every so often someone puts a post up basically telling the Americans to go away and stop giving American advice in a UK subreddit lol.